why, how did it happen? General had nothing to do with slimline. And I suddenly realized, when we did a total climate survey, that 67% of the people were involved in the war. Their brothers were in the army. They were fighting a battle for, years. And General was a true hero at that time. So I realized that what you think, coming from a very Western, Colombo educated background, the people in the village, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thinking. So I used some of those concepts to bring people together. For an example, once we found that out, we want to do something for war heroes. So, we wanted to collect some money. And that time we had 13,000 people across MAS Holdings, and we managed to collect nearly 6 million rupees within, few hours to build 10 houses in Pandala and 10 houses in Horana. So how do you align? It's a thread, and you need to understand at each level what drives them, what drives the motivation, what brings them together as a team. When it comes to executives, it's very different. So you use some different techniques, and I've used things like sports, into a great team building. I would say a tool, because in my lifetime I've seen Sri Lanka come as a nation very few times, and one was when we won the 1996 World Cup. That time, people were not politically or racially or any other way, biased. They all played like a Sri Lankan team to win the World Cup. So that's why we use, especially at MAS Holdings, we have nearly 100 people who represent Sri Lanka in 21 sports. And we bring all of them together. I mean,
So you are discussing basically ways and means you are getting your employees and the task force together.
Yes.
So it can be by way of sports or by way of actually addressing their needs.
Yes.
So I think sports is a different topic because you are really passionate about sports.
Yes.
And you've gone out of the way also to build these sportsmen and sportswomen. But tell us, Dian, as to why you took special interest in the field of sports, and also investing a lot of time and your energy building up these sportsmen. What was the reason behind?
I mean, I myself, I boxed for Royal College from 1973 to 77. I was Sri Lanka's junior flyweight champion. But once I left college, I never thought that I'll, wear my gloves again. But then subsequently in 1999, I became a sports administrator. I was the youngest referee judge, by the age of 20, still the record holds. And then I got involved in the administration part. How I got involved was 1999, I went for SAF Games. And then the chef de mission was today the commander of the army, Lieutenant General Jayasuriya, and Hemasiri Fernando, who was the president of the National Olympic Committee. They knew what my background was, what my corporate background was, and my sports background was. So I can still remember Hemasiri talking to me and saying, Dian, if you get involved in boxing, which is closer to my heart, most probably, within 8 to 12 years, we might be able to produce an Olympic medalist. And I took that task and brought in 5 schoolboys from underprivileged backgrounds to Slimline and started Slimline Boxing Club. So that was the initial beginnings of how I got involved. I mean, I personally, did athletics and boxing for Royal.
So it's apart from your personal liking towards sports, is it also because you thought that sports also build the human being to become part of the team and also to be more efficient in their work? Is that the reason why? Or
of course, when I recruit people, one of the main things that I look at is, we say, for an example, a management trainee job. We have nearly 2,000 people applying for 20 slots. And most of them are very, very good, academically very good. Then we look at people who have done sports. The reason sports is, when you do sports, whether it's synchronized swimming, whether it's boxing, whether it's cricket or rugby or athletics or any sport, it teaches you how to accept defeat. In life, you need to understand, when you recruit somebody, the employee must first understand what it takes to lose and then to come back and to win. So if you take people, who has understood defeat and also understood what it takes to win, they can become fantastic employees. They are those people who would go beyond that, extra 9 yards. And I have two daughters, both represent Sri Lanka in synchronized swimming and water polo. And what I basically want them is first for them to understand what it takes to lose, not to win. As a parent, what it takes to lose first, understand defeat. And I have gone for numerous international meets with the Sri Lankan boxing team, with Manju Wanniyarachchi and Anuruddha Ratnayaka. And for 9 years, we tasted defeat. There were times that, I have cried at the ringside, by merely losing by 1 point. But the whole idea is never allowing them to give up. So you take an employee, who understands defeat, and the people who are around you who understands defeat, and then what makes them tick to overcome defeat and to be a champion, and the life's learning from doing all these sports. The important thing is building character. So that's one of the reasons that we tend to employ people, who comes from a very strong sporting background.
Right. So on that note, Dian, we'll take a small break and we will be back with you soon.